Hello everyone, it's Tom, it's FANzine Live. Another big day of looking at zines from SPX, the Small Press Expo in Bethesda, Maryland. Hope you like. No particular theme this time, just 4 really nice looking zines. Let's check them out. Let's get started today with, of course, FANzine Live, our new releases, and we are going to start with Hey Kids Comics. And this is actually a comic store out of Brooklyn, New York. And they got on my radar many moons ago. Looks like back in 2021, if my notes are correct and if my things are correct. They were a graphic novel of the month club to start with. And they specifically designed their offerings to be for the young adult market, or really more the kid market. And their store basically sells comics and graphic novels that are written for kids. So if you want to read anything adult oriented or anything with more mature themes, don't go looking here. But they do stuff for kids. And so what they would do on a monthly basis in their first iteration is they would package the graphic novel of the month, and it was the subscription service. And then they would throw in a kind of digest size comic. And I pulled these ones. I subscribed my kids to these. And what they would do is they would have, for example, this one, the graphic novel was Manu. So it's a meet the creator. And you learn a little bit about the creator. And this is stuff that the kids could do. Take a look at some of the first comics she ever made. Then they switched to kind of an activity type thing. And in this case, it's Let's Draw Ducks. Then they have some writing challenges. And then they have some drawing challenges. So you can see that they've got the script done and they've got the lettering done. Now you got to draw it in. A little bit about word balloons, some recommendations if you liked Manu. And then in this one, they had a fun little design on the back. As time went on, and I will go to, yes, we'll do this one, August 22. So this one was Frankie's World, was the graphic novel. So you learn about Frankie's World and the author. You look at some of the early drawings, the writing prompts, the drawing prompts. Oh, that's fun. Let's draw burgers. So they teach you how to do different layers. This one they have Captain Cereal. But then on the back, Matt Feazell started doing this thing called Mr. Comics. And I'm going to look here. Mr. Comics ended up being a thing that he did with the Hey Kids the Hey Comics Kids. And you can see he started writing on many issues little bits of knowledge about how to make comics. Talking about color CMYK, talking about, what's this one? Storytelling, the gutter being the space between the panels. This one is talking about panel borders, captions. This one's talking about the narratives, speech balloons. So it's kind of cool. He did all this stuff. Now, everything changes. Hey Kids Comics opened up a storefront, and they discovered that selling comics and creating these zines at the same time, selling the graphic novels via their mail order service and making these zines simply was too time intensive. And so they decided to get out of that side of the business. They are The store is still open. It's still there in Brooklyn. You can see it's at 157A Huron Street. And they have also, and I've got a sticker there, they have done a couple things. When they made the transition away from their Book of the Month Club, which they no longer do, they compiled all of Matt Fiesel's Mr. Comics strips, and they even had him do a few more. They put them all into one book. You can get this from Matt at his website, and the reading is great. It's a really creative way to talk about how comics are made. For example, a page on sound effects, a page on establishing shots, and the different types of close-ups and backups and that type of stuff. All the different things about making comics. It's a fun read, and it's an educational read, and it teaches kids and readers in general about the mechanics of making comics. So that's cool. Then they decided that they wanted to stay in the zine business at Hey Kids Comics, but not having the structure of having the book series, the Book of the Month Club to work on. They instead have switched it, and this was created and debuted at the 2024 SPX in Bethesda, Maryland. They create now a regular zine that is entirely, from a creative point of view, done by the kids. And you can see they have different kid cartoons. Some of them are really funny. Some of them are clearly written by little kids, but it's so neat to see the creativity. And you can have your kid get involved. And I'll show you how in just a minute. Really neat. If boxes could talk, blah, 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 blah. Boy, you really are a chatterbox. I love it. So yeah, totally made by kids. And so the kids submit their strips and their illustrations, their gags. They submit it to Hey Kids Comics, and then Hey Kids Comics can choose to put that stuff in their anthologies. But what they also have, and they were handing this out, is to make a one-page comic. And this was handed out at SPX. And what they say is 8.5 by 5.5, the traditional small press digest size comic. They put in some guides if you want to make different panels, and if you want to do some spacing and have some gutters. But it's a simple Xerox page. Give this to your kid, have them make a comic, and then you can send it to them at their website, or you can scan the QR code to submit, which is really neat. So I'm a little bummed that they got rid of the Book of the Month Club. My kids loved it. But this is a neat follow-up program that they've got. And yeah, Hey Kids Comics. It's good to get kids into comics. I'm sure we've all heard about how comics are good for helping kids build their vocabulary early. But it also is just such an element of creativity and excitement. And you can see it in these pages. The adventures of Mr. Before French Fries, Large Sarge Laserbutt versus Cactopus, Sam's Normal Day, I'm Pasta, Pickle Dog and Taxes Man. I mean, it's just crazy stuff. Laughing and Eating. Look at those monsters. I mean, this is neat, fun stuff. So, Hey Kids Comics, if you've got kids or if you interact with kids, grandkids, whatever, by all means, check this out. Might be a good way to introduce your kids to the medium of comics, and definitely get yourself a copy of Mr. Comics and the Hey Comics Kids. This is a great educational pamphlet, mini comic, and professionally done, well done stuff. So there we go. Hey Kids Comics. Hope you enjoyed. Let's go check out some more. Jim Rugg, formerly of Cartoonist Kayfabe, but obviously much more than that because of his abilities as a cartoonist, and he is I believe, an Eisner and what they say, he's an Eisner and Ignatz Award winner. He has definitely earned his spurs, and he did over the summer a whirlwind tour of the many Pittsburgh comic book stores, and he made a guide to those stores. This was on sale at SPX, of course, and you can see how he put his guide together. I really like this. Lists them all out, has a geographic map. You can see where they're all located. Talks about his premise as to why to do it, what makes a good comic store, which one is the best, and how to use his guide. He is of the belief that Pittsburgh is the best comic book city in America. That's a lot of comics or a lot of comic stores for a city the size of Pittsburgh. It very well could be the best in America. Then he gets into the actual comics themselves, and you can see he's got the names of the different comics. Some of them have different branches, so he kind of mixes that up. And then he shows his rating criteria: staff, new comics, Marvel, DC, back issues, Golden Age, magazines. I mean, it goes on and on. Manga, alternative. And then he goes into the ambiance, personality, parking, bargains, local talent shown off, spinner racks, that type of stuff. And he has a rating system. As you can see, ratings: 0 means none, 1 means not much, 2 is okay, 3 is good, 4, you win. And then on the ambiance and the like, he has yes and no, and he has some, a lot, and none on this section for Funko Pops. Here are his criteria. So he asks hard and fast questions about each one. He threw in a insert page, color printed, of him checking out all the different comic stores. My main concern about this is he's wearing the same clothes on each one. Jim, did you actually visit all these in one day, or did you just make a point of wearing the same clothes to each store? Because if you did all of this in one day, you're a madman. Next, dollar bins. He talks about how he loves dollar bins. Talks about organizing books. And then he does a little bit of a zine style, almost a very grungy, almost a punk style look at the different comic book stores as far as the layout goes. But he just puts in his thoughts about each of the different stores. Pretty cool. And then he even has a section about accessibility and stairs, which I think is pretty cool. Has information on his store. And then he has a copy of the scorecard blank that you could use yourself. Now, he put an autograph at the bottom on this one. But yeah, kind of a neat little book. So, Jim, thank you so much for opening my eyes to what's available in Pittsburgh. Next time I go back, I have a couple ideas on stores I might want to go hit. And there you go. The Jim Rugg Guide to Pittsburgh Comic Book Stores. This book also obtained at SPX by Daniel Toraka. It's called 930, and it is about, it's located in the city of Washington, D.C. I really like the printing on this. I think it's risograph. I'm not entirely certain, but the paper is really, can you hear it crinkle? It's almost like a tracing paper type of thing. It's somewhat translucent, as very different than the cardstock cover. But I love how it looks. And he uses a very thick line, which has a terrific effect. So, of course, he starts with the train, the DC Metro map that he kind of blows up. And then you can see the movement. So he's got some stuff about that, about the being on the train, listening to some music on his, that's an old school iPod. And you can see he's on the green line, got his character. Nice mixes of the dark blues and maybe a gray. Or maybe that's just a lighter tone of the blue. Could be. If you get it light enough, it might work. Visiting a cemetery, and this is apparently a friend that he misses terribly. The artwork is beautiful. It sets the mood really well, but it's simple. The lines are simple. You only need to have a few lines to make branches on a tree. You only need to show the fence and then the bumps of a cemetery with a cross in it. You know exactly what you're looking at. So it's a nice little piece. And very heartfelt. You get to know some people in life and others don't even get to know themselves. Share, seek, and love. Nice little piece. Nice meditation on losing someone you love and trying to handle it and move on. Good book. Technically, it's gorgeous. I really like the presentation. It's unlike anything I've got. And you can't argue with the content. So, 9:30. Good looking book. Our final book is called The Meteorologist by August Boehmer Lawson. I believe this is a 2024 book. Interesting little thing. It's a bit of it. First off, it appeared in a 2024 anthology DOP 2. So he took his story and extracted it and threw it into this zine by itself. So if you want to get the anthology, which has more, you can get that, or you can just read this. Really nice art style. It kind of a simple cartoony type look, but with enough detail that and enough thought put into the panel design that you can tell that this clearly is a talented artist. Shows that sometimes more lines isn't necessarily better. But anyway, so it's about a gentleman who has been stranded, as he says, on a planet for some time, alone on the desolate world, and he decides to come up with an idea on never to be alone again and extracting maybe some DNA and puts it in, after building out these glass spheres, he drips a little in and tries growing it. And of course it doesn't work. It was too harsh. So he starts trying to increase production. So his little factory gets bigger and bigger. He keeps trying more and more. And then as you can start seeing, the gorgeous landscape starts depleting as he keeps trying and trying and trying. And then eventually he gives himself up to nature. So it's a fascinating little study here, but I think the thing I really enjoy about it is the artwork. It just does some neat things as far as design of those panels. And it's pretty impressive. I mean, to do a 12-panel page like that you can't sneeze at that. Neat book. August Boehmer Lawson, The Meteorologist. So that's it. I will have ordering information on this and all the other zines in the show notes. And that's it for the new releases from SPX for this time. We will have more. I've still got more in my bag. See you soon, everybody. Have a great day.